Hello and welcome into the Shoujo-Verse. I'm your host today, Bees, and I'm here with Nikki. And today we've got a very special episode. It's gonna get steamy up in here because we're talking about smut.
Yay, Smut!
Everyone reads it, except if you don't, but most people do, even if they don't admit it.
Legally above if you're over the legal age in whatever country you're in.
18 plus is gonna be the general rule. If you're not over 18, click off this episode right now.
Click away now.
Please. Or at least go into a room where your parents aren't listening.
Also, Bees and I have very special drinks to accompany us on our smut journey.
Well, I've already drank my drinks because I was waiting for hours for Nikki to be done with her orientation.
I told you how long it was going to take.
I know, and I knew that, and that's why I was drinking beforehand. Some White Claws. The flavor was black cherry.
I have rosé. Are you a White Claw or Truly type of girl? Like,
White Claw.
Were you you were drinking White Claws by choice?
I was.
Dang.
I tried Truly and I didn't like them.
I'm most definitely on the Truly side of things.
Honestly, my favorite was the Smirnoff rosé.
Smirnoff rosé.
Yeah. Sparkling rosé sort of thing. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but that slapped.
Oh, I'm drinking rosé right now, but I don't know what brand this is. I just found it.
I've ran out of alcohol because I didn't buy any at the grocery store today because I was like, oh, I have enough. I did not.
Well, I was trying to catch up, so I downed a glass, and now I'm drinking my second glass of rosé. And we are both 21.
We are over.
The legal, both over 21, which is the legal drinking age in the U.S.
If you're listening along and you're also over the legal drinking age of whatever country you're in, why don't you pop open a glass while you're listening?
Yeah. We'll be your drinking buddies.
Hell yeah. Let's go ahead and open with like a nice soft question. Nikki, what were you doing in Vegas the other day?
Yeah, speaking of being over 21. So my cousin actually just turned 21 this past month. We did a little small trip, girls trip, kind of like me, my sister, some cousins, aunts. We went to Las Vegas. I was only there for one night. And our big, kind of the one thing we planned event there was to go to Chippendales. Right? And for anyone who doesn't know, Chippendales, let me actually look it up because I think their description is interestingly written. But I will read to you what is the quick little snippet that they have on their website. So Chippendales Las Vegas is a fantastic sex god abs party that will make you lose your damn mind.
Wait, sorry, sex god abs party?
Fantastic sex god abs party. Yeah.
I want that on my headstone, I think.
Fantastic sex god abs party. Yeah, anyway, but yeah, it's like, so it's in Rio, the Rio Hotel, and there's a huge poster of like a bunch of men, shirtless men, right outside. You walk in, it's a little shop. They sell like sex toys there.
Oh?
Yeah, I was like, oh, look, I'm like, I've never actually been to like a sex shop before or anything like that. So I was like, oh, this is actually kind of new for like, you can always see and you always like hear about like people going to sex shops and stuff. Even it's smut, sometimes they'll like, I guess like there's like sex shops or whatever. But I've never actually been in one, so I like walked in, and then it's like the little souvenir shop basically, but their souvenirs are like vibrators. Yeah, and then like those lollipops are like shaped like a dick or a penis or anything. I was debating whether or not which term I wanted to use for that. Anyway, it was like fun and everything. There was like it was definitely kind of weird. Or like some kind of uncomfy parts just because it's like straight up like dry humping on the stage, but I mean whatever. Yeah, but it was still fun. I would say it's worth it. Like, I would go. $90 for the VIP section. Yeah, it's worth it. I brought home a souvenir. It's the shirt that the guy that I had the skit with, he ripped it off and, like, gave it to me.
Now that is priceless, truly.
And I was like, what do I do with this, though? Like, it's just, like, this, like, white wife beater tank top thing. I'm like, it's, like, sweaty.
Clearly, you put it in the closet and you make a little shrine to it.
Added all my, like, other K-pop shrine things and just add.
Oh, you should put it on the cardboard cutout.
Oh, wait, that's actually a good idea. Like, I can, like, literally put it on him all.
He has another use now.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a good idea. I'll try it. Yeah, and it's actually, the venue's small. It's pretty intimate. We had VIP tickets.
VIP?
Yeah, VIP tickets. So we were like, it wasn't like, I don't think it was like the, actually, I don't know. I don't know how it works, but, because I didn't get the tickets, but it was like VIP, so we had like a table, and I think they mostly interact with like the VIP section. The non-VIP section is really small. Almost everyone there is like VIP. They have like a bar, so they have some drinks and stuff, so we were drinking too. But yeah, so this fantastic Six God Abs party, they get, they take off their pants, and they often take off their underwear. Mm-hmm. They only show the backside, or like if they're in the front, they'll cover, like they'll put, like literally just with only a hand, they'll like cover the front. And I don't know, I don't know if there's like there's a lot of room for slipping, right? And I don't know if they just let it happen, or if there's like actually some type of like extra safety measure in place to like not really have their like manhood flopping all over the place. Because
you
also,
know, you sent those you sent some little short videos, and when that guy turned around, I was like, damn, he's got a towel. What? Yeah,
like, I don't know, like, and then also, so they're oftentimes, there's a lot of people from the crowd that get brought up stage. So plenty of people will get brought up stage, and be a part of it. And then there are certain skits where they will show like the front section to the person sitting down, or like the person on stage. And so, I don't know, I actually was lucky enough to go on stage.
Oh, queen?
Yeah. But I got like the most vanilla skit. Like, I think they threw in like one romantic skit, like just a singular like kind of princessy romantic skit, just to play onto like that type of fantasy, that type of like, you know, ideal. Because, you know, girls have that idea too.
For the vanilla girls in the crowd, you know.
Yeah. You know, like, it's really cute. It was like royal, like they were wearing like British Army Guard, or like, I don't even know. Actually, no, it was American. Like some type of like American Army Guard type of outfit. And, you know, it was nice. But I was like, damn, that one girl that got the Christian Grave skit was literally chained up.
Damn, that could have been you.
And I was like, why wasn't I chosen for that one? It's probably because, honestly, I have a pretty big baby face, so I look really young. So they were also probably like, that's why they gave me the like really vanilla one, because I look like I was like some minor that snuck in.
They probably thought, oh, this is this girl's 21st birthday. You know, I think this is a pretty good transition to talking about tropes and smut, because age and age gaps, that's a pretty big trope.
I personally don't read those.
I guess sometimes you know what? Maybe I do sometimes. It's almost always, though, like, it's the age gaps, but it's like the secretary with the boss.
Yeah,
know?
I guess. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, I guess they're kind of age gaps, but I don't really think of them as age gaps.
Yeah, I don't think of them as age gaps in the same way as shoujo age gaps.
There's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, teacher-student type things. That's really weird in smut, actually.
I would not read a smut that had featured a
teacher and student?
High schooler.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I don't know, I'm trying to think, have I read anything with a college student and a teacher?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, it's probably out there somewhere, but do you have any favorite smut tropes?
Favorite smut tropes?
Anything that really gets you?
I don't know the chains. I'm kidding, no. That also doesn't really happen in smut.
Oh, you know what? It sometimes does, though.
Sometimes. It's usually, yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I think plot point wise, I like it when they're both very capable. Like, if it's a type of office one, I like it. I like it when they're both successful in their own fields, which is like a very not spicy component, but it's kind of like more of in general, but in smut too specifically, because I feel like in smut specifically, there's always like some power dynamic that's like weird, where it's always like the guy always has the upper hand in like whatever situation, like work and stuff.
But it's better when the girl is also good, so it levels the playing field a little bit.
Yeah, I just don't like it when it's like the guy has so much of like this power dynamic that it seems that's where also like consent gets like hazy too, because it's like how you gonna say no to your boss? Like or like it's hard to like feel comfortable to say no to your boss, right?
Right.
And so I just like it better when there's not that like weird power dynamic that happens, because it just gets like I don't know. And then also like it just happens so often, and it's like women can be capable too.
True.
And usually also in those situations, the female leads aren't as like, they don't take as much control of their sexuality.
Yeah. I can tell you, I don't like it when the female... I'm kind of sick of, like, the Christmas cake female lead, you know?
Christmas cake? Like...
Is that the phrase? It's Christmas cake, Christmas gift? Anyways, you know, virgin after the 25th birthday, I think.
After the 25th birthday?
You know? It's a virgin... woman who's a virgin after the age of 25. I never heard of that term before. But I know what you mean. Like, they're always virgins, and they're, like, 25, 26, 27. And they're, like, so desperate. They're just like, I just need to lose my virginity. And I'm like, it's not... It's just weird when you focus on it so much.
Yeah, it's also... There's also that idea of, like, virginity in general, because that's also, like, you know, a social construct.
True.
I mean, you can decide when you lose your virginity, right? In a sense, because it's not like there's any like determined medical way to say you're a virgin or not. It's kind of a construct.
Right. I'm just not a fan of series that focus so much on it.
Yeah, I don't...
I'm more into the girls that like they're into sex and they own it, you know? Confidence.
Yeah, I think that's what most people... I feel like it's what most people are like, too, in general. Or, like, especially when you grow older, you kind of get sick of, like, that type. And there's, like, so much... Japan is a very, like, masculine country, which is, interesting to say. Or, like, some people wouldn't think that way, but in, I think it's, like, Hofstede's... I've mentioned it before in, like, Hofstede's, Dimensions of Culture. Masculinity, femininity is one of them, and it's more of like, you know, gender roles and stuff. And Japan is one of the ones that rank like one of the highest, I think, if not the highest, when it comes to masculinity. And it's just like the general idea of like, you know, of gender roles, right?
Right.
And you can kind of see it a lot in like East Asian countries in general, but also in like the manga and animes we read.
Yeah, we've complained about before how the way that, oh man, I can't. This is what happens when I have alcohol. I am already bad with words, and I'm already forgetting every single word I've ever said in my life. The way manga portrays the ideal female character in the main characters of shoujo.
And as much as I would want to be like, oh, it's because it's like written by men, but it's like not. You know, the smut that we read are usually written by women, right?
Right, but I feel like Smut does a better job because it's written for women by women. So, like, it's
most definitely a better job, but it's still not really a good job.
Right.
Most of the time.
But I don't know, like, in my mind, there's a huge difference between smut and hentai.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're, like, basic...
No, I agree.
They're, like, covering the same thing. It's sex. But smut is, like, for women, and hentai is for men. And hentai, I don't like.
Yeah, I agree. I must have think... Yeah, smut is must have catered to women more. I still don't think it does a really great job, and I still think it has some type of, like, a lot of misogyny, a lot of sexism laced into it. But yeah, most definitely way better than hentai. Hentai is so... I don't think hentai has, like...
Any redeeming qualities?
Yeah, not really.
The boob size, most of the time? Literally?
Mm-hmm.
How is she standing? How is her back still vertical?
They're, like, literally bigger than her head.
I know, like, oh.
I mean, boob size aside, it's, like, also, like, proportion. Not very proportionate.
No. Like, I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. One of the most important things for me in manga is the art style, and that is especially important in smut. I cannot look at the bubbles. I most of the time don't even look at what they're saying. I'm looking at the pictures. You know?
Yeah. Quickly scroll. Where's the...
There's this one...
Honestly, the dialogue is usually not that great in smut either.
You know, it's all getting to the same place.
Yeah, you're not missing much. You can probably fill it in your head with better dialogue than what's written.
True.
Sometimes.
There's this one series called Lost Things. I don't know if you heard of it.
I think I read it. Yeah, I am.
I
read part of it, maybe.
The art is really good. It's like kind of stylized realism. The story, I have no idea what the heck.
Yeah, literally. I was like, who are these people?
I don't know what's going on. She's looking for revenge for someone who's died, but sleeping with people is that way of getting revenge. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was like, who is this? Why are you sleeping with this lady? Like,
the old lady?
Yeah, I was like, who is she?
I don't know. I scrolled past that real quick.
I was like, what is this? Why is this happening? I don't get it. Yeah, it was really weird. The art is most definitely amazing. I literally have no idea what's going on.
And I intend on keeping it that way.
Yeah, I'm not... I'll still read it. Even though I don't know what's happening.
Have you read Him and Him and Him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
That one? I like how we're both just, like, silent about it.
Okay, I'm gonna say, I enjoy it. I do.
I enjoyed it, too.
It's like, if you want vanilla, this ain't it. This ain't it, Chief.
Not... In a sense, though, it was actually kind of vanilla.
Well, I mean, yes, but also really no.
It's like a spicy vanilla.
Ooh, that makes me think of, Hardcore Vanilla. Did you read that one?
I don't think I actually read... I don't know, I don't remember.
It's like the one where the guy is pretending to be submissive and the girl's pretending to be dominant because there's a massive miscommunication between the two of them.
I think I read part of it, but that one takes a little bit longer to, like...
Get to the spice?
Get to a lot of spice, right?
Yeah.
I think I was reading part of it, and then I didn't get to, like, the really spicy parts yet.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. You know.
It's interesting. That's one of the few that has, like, a pretty decent plot, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those, like, those Korean ones. Those Korean webtoon ones.
Mm-hmm.
They all, like, have really similar art styles.
Yeah.
It's really funny because there's, like, the few that are, like... There's, like, a couple that are, like, I feel like more catered towards... Or it seems like it's more catered towards women because there's, like, a little more emotion. A little more, like... I read, it's, like, what's going on or what's happening or something, what are you doing today or something like that.
What's going on? It's, like, really long.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
I read it for a while and then it kept going and going and I was like, I stopped.
Yeah, it's a little long. But I really liked that one. I thought it was really cute. And the smutty scenes were also still really good. Even though it was cute, like, the smut was, like, also pretty good in my opinion.
I'm gonna say it. Smut, IMO, needs to have... I mean, a lot of times it does. It keeps up with, like, the smutty scenes pretty often. But I hate when there's, like, miscommunication and there's, like, a dry patch in there. Not for me. I don't like miscommunication in general in my manga. There's this one. It had really good potential. One More Time is what it's called. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of... This guy walked in on this girl naked like 3 times by accident. That's a little bit, how do you keep doing it so many times? It's like she keeps living in his house because his brother has the key and gives her the key. And so she's like living there because he works abroad because he's a rich business guy. There's so many rich business guys in Smut.
I know, why are they always rich businessmen? What kind of business are you in?
The business of looking hot. Hey.
I never understood business bros. It's so funny. One of my friends is like a business bro, and I still don't know what he does. I just know he's a business bro and he makes some pretty decent money. He works for like one of the big firms. But I'm like, what does this firm even do?
Who knows? I've got one friend who's like, she works for a business, but she's not in the upper management parts, and she does like financial risk assessment. She makes a lot of money.
They make their money somehow.
And that's what's important, really, is the money.
A lot of the guys, the business guys in the manhwas and the mangas, or like the smut, they're always like, I guess not always, but oftentimes they're just like heirs.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
Trust fund babies.
They've inherited it from their fathers or their grandfathers. Men who've never really had to work a day in their life.
Yeah, I was saying before, I wonder if like real life trust fund babies have some spicy drama going on too, because I feel like they do.
Probably.
Because when you have money, it's some like crazy things that happen, right?
Yeah, what else are you gonna do except stir up drama?
Yeah, I actually like hung out with a couple of like pretty rich kids once while studying abroad, and the way that they throw around money, the way that they casually like, they were younger than me, right? So a lot of them, I think, or some of them just graduated high school, or like were gonna be first years, or were first years or something, and they're talking about like they're like, yeah, we're doing like a senior trip to like Tokyo, and I'm like, what the hell, in high school?
The heck?
Yeah, the way they threw around money and like got into trouble. Some interesting stories there.
How do you feel about, well, I'm trying to think now. Most of the time in Smut, when there's a rich guy, I feel like the girl keeps working. I can't remember any Smut that I've read where the guy's, where he spoils her. I can't think of any. Any sugar daddies, basically.
I think when they're rich, they do kind of spoil them, but I think that usually the female leads don't like. They usually want to try to keep working, right? Because part of their redeeming quality is that they're passionate about their work.
True. They can work and fuck.
Yeah. Or they're somewhat capable in what they do, right? Sometimes that's like showcased a little bit, or like it's kind of there to make it seem like I feel like it's usually some point to make them like good at their job at least, or like something that's like their redeeming quality to make it seem like that guy doesn't like them just for no reason. They have to catch the male lead's attention somehow.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of, have you read Game Tsukima?
No, I saw it. I've seen it like recommended before though, but I don't think I've actually read it.
It's like they basically make a game out of like who's gonna catch feelings first, because both of them are like, no, I will not catch feelings for you. But the girl gets the guy's attention because she works really hard. She's like not expressive, and I think that one's kind of hot. But there's like never updates.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't read it, because it was like so slow to update, or like there wasn't a lot out.
I will admit, like the art is definitely one where the guy is just massive for no reason and the girl's tiny. That's one thing I don't like about smut art, is like
that does happen a lot though.
They're like normal size, but the scale is like you grabbed the top right corner and shrunk her down.
Yeah, usually the guys are pretty big. There's like also those ones where like the guys are like especially buff. Like they're not businessmen, but they have some type of like working profession, like construction work or like something like that.
Yeah.
Firefighting.
Yeah. Those ones are always interesting. I feel like those ones, they'll always play up like the himbo character.
Yeah.
We appreciate himbos out here.
Or like they're like some type of like beast-like character, and like the tiny little female lead like tames them somehow.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I know that trope. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of it.
I think it's a little. I mean, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it either. I guess from the female point of view, it's a little less problematic compared to some other tropes, though.
There's this one. It's called A Kind Goblin's Bird.
I think I read part of it, but it was also like really like nothing happens.
It's a lot of nothing happens, and like it's also really not great. The vibes aren't.
Like, the dialogue is horrible.
That, yes, maybe it's probably just the translation.
Yeah, it's probably translation, but even then, I'm like, even if this made grammatical sense, there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, it's like he saves this girl who can like make people's dreams come true.
Something like that. I read it a while ago, so I don't remember super much of what happened, but it's...
And he's a goblin, and he always wears a mask, but he's, like, handsome under the mask, of course. And it's like, she's not educated. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And it feels a little icky.
It does. I think the art's really nice. The Smut's Smut's not bad. Yeah, that plot, or, like, the story, or, like, anything else for that matter, kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's one of the ones you just gotta keep scrolling, you know?
Yeah, for real. Art's pretty. It's very pretty. It's I think it's like a Chinese one, right?
I think so, yeah. Well, now that I think about it, like the Chinese historical ones are also the ones that always give me a weird vibe.
Yeah, they are always weird. They are usually pretty weird. The translation's also usually off.
Which does not help. Do you have any favorite smuts that you can recall?
A favorite smut? Like I said, I really like that What's Going On one.
Man.
I think it was a good balance of, like, an actual decent storyline and, like, good smut. Like, the smut was, like, pretty...
Dang, maybe I'll have to pick that one back up.
If you read, like, maybe the first half or, like, even the first section of it, it kind of gives you, like, already a sense of how it goes. Like, it kind of keeps that same pace all throughout, in my opinion.
So is the rest just filler, or is it just more of the same?
It's more of the same thing. I mean, it does, like I said, it follows a pretty, like, typical plot line as well, where they do have, like, that miscommunication and stuff, right? And some, like, time apart.
The dreaded miscommunication trope.
Yeah, time apart. But there is also a side couple, which I think, while they're miscommunicating, there's also a side couple continuing some smut.
That's good. That's necessary.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't remember exactly, but there was a side couple, and I think the side couple was also really cute.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That made me think, when you said more of the same, that made me think of, I think it's like My Boss's Size XL or something. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you read that one. It says the whole trope. The girl, she's making extra money by reviewing products on the side, and she gets sent extra large condoms to review, and she's like, how am I gonna review these? I don't have a dick. And what do you know? Her boss just happens to have an extra large dick.
I don't even remember how that happened. Like, he just, like, what did he do? Bring her home drunk or something? And then he, like, found them and was like, why do you have these?
I feel like it was, she had, of course, the extra large condoms in her purse, as well as a sex toy for some reason. Probably to test it out with. And then he saw those contents and was like, what are you doing? And then she was like, I can explain. Then he was like, oh, this is simple. I will review it for you. You see, I have an extra large penis. She's like, a word?
A word? You know what? Actually, the more... Okay, I don't think it's... Like, low-key, I'm like... I could actually see a guy going like, oh, you need someone to review it with? I can do it. But the weird part, I feel like the weirder part was her so readily agreeing.
I mean, she wanted the money.
But it's so weird that who would even, like, what kind of situation? Wouldn't you find a guy instead of a girl to test, like, I feel like it would just be easier to find a guy to do that type of testing for you.
Probably. That's bad on the company, but I guess it got her a husband in the end. Good for her. Good
for her, guess. I feel like it's weird that, all of these relationships start out with sex, which isn't really realistic in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I think that's because the point of smut is sex. So they're just, like, getting it off from the start. Like, authors, like, bang, we're starting like this.
Yeah, but that's, like, that's weird, right? If you, like, really think about it, I feel like it's weird, because most relationships don't start off... Well, I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but I feel like most relationships don't start off like that.
You're probably right. I mean, I'm sure if it does start with sex, there's usually, maybe not almost always, but usually a date beforehand at least.
Yeah. You don't just, like some random, like, hook up with a stranger and then, like...
Ends in marriage.
Yeah, ends in marriage.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
But also, like, that's literally what happens in, like, most smut I've read.
Sometimes the way to get them to have sex at the beginning is so outlandish. But, like, we excuse it because do we really read the story? No.
Yeah. Why can't it just be like they matched on a dating app and went on a date?
That's too vanilla, you see.
Apparently it's not fun enough that they met on Tinder or something. They had to have, like, some weird misunderstanding, miscommunication, accident.
You know, Koi to Dangan, which is Yakuza Lover. Have you read that one? It's got physical English release. It's got the guy with, like, you can only see one of his eyes. I'm not a big fan of his hairstyle, I'm gonna be honest. Hot take. Anyways, that one starts with the girl, she's like, I call her feisty. Yeah, that seems like a good description. I mean, it doesn't start with the date, but it also doesn't start with sex immediately. It takes, like... There is that instant attraction thing, but he does, like, help her. And then she sees him again, returning his coat, and then she sees him one more time. And then they have sex. It's a step up.
There are so many... I guess. There are so many of those, like, weird, like, situations that would just, like, they're so unrealistic, never would happen. Like, how many times you gotta walk in on him with just a towel on, and then the towel, like, falls?
Are you talking about, the one with my best friend is huge or something?
No, just in general, like, this, you know how the trope of, like, oh, it's always a female lead walking in on a guy showering, or, like, coming out of the shower, and he's just, like, not wearing pants, and he just has a towel on, and then for some reason, right when she sees him, the towel falls.
And then she sees...
Or, like...
She sees the D.
And then she sees, yeah.
Whoa.
And then all of a sudden they're having sex or something.
Yeah, and then she's like, I'm just thinking about that dick, and now I have to have it.
Oh yeah, now she's, like, always thinking about it. I'm like, that's not realistic, dude. Like, I don't know, man.
It's not. This is when it's, My Friend's Hidden Charm, where it's basically that exact same trope. She literally breaks up with her boyfriend because she's like, I'm sorry, you're not big enough for me. And then she goes and sleeps with her friend.
That's so weird. That is most definitely not realistic at all.
No.
Like, I'm sorry, I think dicks are ugly in general.
Ooh. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you, though.
They are not a very, like, visually or aesthetically pleasing part of the human body.
Dick pics are not appealing.
They are not.
It's like, if you're a boy listening to this, if you're a man listening to this, don't send dick pics unless the girl specifically asks you to. They're not appealing. And there's, like, nothing... What do I get from this?
If I were just to see, like, I don't know, dude. I feel like even just seeing, like, a naked man would not turn me on at all.
It's the same with me. Like, I see a naked body and I'm like, you're naked. Can we get some foreplay up in here?
Unless unless he had, like, 2 dicks or something, or, like, some, like, unless it was, like, green, or, like, it was purple, or it was, like, a rainbow, I would not be constantly thinking about, like, someone's dick that much after seeing it once.
Yeah, you gotta be, like, some sort of person that is not me. Sometimes the situations are just extreme.
I would get, like, seeing like, your friend kind of differently after you saw them naked, I guess. But, like,
Not
constantly
obsessive.
thinking. Yeah, not obsessive, like, I would be able to go back to, like, being friends and not feel like I need to have sex with him if I saw my friend naked.
Like, I am not that horny.
So, yeah, that's also, like, not super, realistic. It's really funny, too, because I think in Smut, it's always the female lead that walks in on the male lead. But then in, like, hentai stuff, it's always, like, the male leads walking in on, like, female leads.
Oh, there's the one I was talking about. One More Time is what it's called. It's disappointing so far, but they finally did have sex. It took him walking in on her literally 3 times when she was trying to take a bath. I'm like, dude, what? Can
you knock or something?
Yeah, I mean, it is his house and it's supposed to be empty, but after, like, the second time, I'm knocking every time. I'm also changing my locks.
Yeah, 3 times is a lot.
I'd also, like, freak out a lot more. He did not freak out. He was just, like, annoyed. He's like, what are you doing in my house? Get out.
Was she, like, a stranger to him?
Yeah. His younger brother's friend. And I think she was just living in the house because she didn't want to pay rent or something like that.
Dude, I would freak out if I just saw some, like if my sister's friend was, like, in the kitchen and I didn't know they were here. Like, even if they was in the kitchen, I would freak out. I'd be like, who the fuck? Why are you in my house? Like, let alone, like, in my bathroom.
True. I just don't get it. And horniness just hits different in Smut, you know. Have you read, the name is so long. Tadano Ranai Nanka de Kikunai Kojirasi Joshi to Fechina Buka. The general premise is this. They're co-workers, right? I think the girl just transferred into his department, but she's been working for a while, and she's really good at her job. The guy is, like, he's kind of cold because he doesn't communicate. He's not, like, good at talking to women. And she has got a thing. She's got, like, a smell fetish. She likes to sniff people. I don't exactly remember how it started. I think it was her sniffing him.
Sounds familiar. I think I might have read it.
The art is superb. Really great. The story? I mean, it's smut. It's, like, it's okay. It doesn't make me cringe. How about that?
I think I remember reading something like this because it sounds familiar, but I don't think it stood out to me.
Yeah, I think
that I would like. Yeah.
I think I like the trope where the guy's like, I am not into girls other than you. I like the guy who is not swindled by other women.
But when are they ever? I feel like they're usually not.
Maybe I just don't like when there's, like, a second female or there's, like, a rival woman or a second male lead in Smut. Nah. Unless it's consensual. Looking at you, him and him and him.
Him and him and him.
It's just it's just another level.
There's, like, a lot of nothing going on, but a lot going on at the same time.
You're right. Like, every single chapter, I'm just like, are you, like, physically okay? A lot is happening to her.
Plot-wise, it could have been completed in, like, 1 chapter. But it gets elongated to, like, what, 14, 15 chapters? But I'm not complete.
Something like that. And now there's still extras going on. And now
There's still extras?
Yeah.
I thought it was done, so I haven't been keeping up.
No. They got married, and she is pregnant.
You know what they never talk about? They never talk about, like, birth control and stuff.
I feel like most of the time they'll at least focus on a condom.
But
not female birth control.
It makes sense that she's not on birth control if she was, like, a virgin or something, which is, like, oftentimes a lot of the case. But if the female lead is, like, generally sexually active, she usually probably has some type of birth control.
Now that you mention it,
or at least
I can't remember any.
Yeah.
That bring it up.
They don't mention any of them except condoms.
Huh.
There's so many methods of birth control, though.
I wonder if birth control is less common in Japan.
Yeah, it might be a Japanese thing too, culturally. the idea of birth control. But yeah, I don't know. I think in media in general, they don't talk too much about birth control. Even I think even American or Western media, not mentioned super often.
If it's mentioned at all, I think the girl will just say something like, "I'm on the pill."
I personally think birth control should be talked about way more often in smut, or like any type of depictions of like sex scenes and stuff.
Oh,
Because then it's such a good opportunity to educate, right? Instead of thinking that like these are the only options.
true.
Right?
And they also never talk about getting tested for STDs.
They're usually not sleeping around too much.
Well, I feel like sometimes the guys, there's like the player guy trope. The guy who's like sleeping with everyone until he finds the female lead and he's like, "You're the one." Oh.
Yeah, you get tested, bro. Like, hi, key. Like, go get tested first.
There's the one where the guy gets turned into a dildo. Where you're running off to.
No, I did not know. I did not know there was one.
Yeah, that's another one where the, yeah.
Who thinks of these things?
It's called Where Are You Running Off To? I feel like, I think I've put it in the recommendations before.
I'm gonna read this, like, tonight.
You should.
Like,
it's actually not
I'm very
bad.
interested. I'm very interested in what happens when this guy turns into a dildo. Like, what?
He basically lives next door to her, and he has loud sex all the time, and she's sick of it, and she accidentally curses him, of course. And it turns...
To turn into a dildo?
Yeah. And then...
Oh my god.
And then I think he's only not a dildo when they're together. So they spend a lot of time together, which you know what that means. They have sex.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
They're getting more creative out here with the smut ideas.
I mean, you have to be. You have to be at this point. I mean, everything's, like, happening. There's, like, the one that's, like, there's, like, 2 Olympic athletes, which I think is kind of, like, it's kind of specific, but that one was actually pretty cute. I forgot what it's called, but it's just, like, 2 Olympic athletes.
I'm not familiar.
They basically, yeah, it's literally, like, that's all you need to know. Like, there's 2 Olympic athletes. They don't have a lot of sexual experience because they just, like, train a lot, and then they, like, find each other.
Of course. I mean, it's just that simple.
It's cute, though. I think it was cute. Smut's okay. Very, like, you know, it's, like, one of those cute kind of fluffy smuts.
Yeah. The one with the dildo man, that one is he's definitely a himbo. He's, like, brain empty.
It's literally a dildo, man. Like, the way, I don't think, did you, like, step back and listen to what you just said? The one with the dildo, man.
Yeah, you know. I'm sure everyone knows the one where the guy turns into a dildo.
Right. There's, like, the Omega-verse ones. There's, like, a few straight ones. Usually it's, like, usually Omega-verse is, like, BL stuff, right?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know it was, like, specifically more BL.
That's what it started as, at least.
But there's, like, some straight Omega-verse stuff. Omega-verse is, like, an interesting thing, too.
Omega-verse was made up simply to make a reason for literally everyone to be having sex all the time.
There's also, like, a decent, like, surprisingly, I feel like a good amount of, like, cross-dressing ones, where the male lead is, like, a cross-dresser. Oh my god, there's, like, the weird, like, low-key borderline bestiality ones, too. Yeah, like, the ones where it's, like, oh, it's a guy, but sometimes he turns into, like, a dog or something, or, like, a wolf.
That's a little, iffy to me.
Yeah, it's very borderline, like, borderline bestiality.
I don't know about that. It's probably because there's lower standards for smut to get published, probably. So it's easier to play around with, like, gender roles in a smut compared to a typical shoujo. Sometimes I do wonder what goes on in the authors' heads. Sometimes it's pretty clear. It's just like, it's just sex, and that's cool. But sometimes it's just like, do you want to talk about it? You should probably go to therapy.
Yeah. I hate it when the male lead just forces sex onto the female lead without just, like, it's just like, why don't you just communicate your feelings? Like,
oh my god, I complained. You weren't in the anniversary episode, right?
No, unfortunately, I said I missed it.
I complained about one that did that. It was so bad. I don't even know why I read as much as I did. It was so bad. Basically, this girl dropped her wallet and a guy found the wallet and gave it, or like helped her from getting mugged further. And she was like, oh no, how can I repay you? Of course. And he was like, oh, you can pose as my wife at this event. Well, it turns out he was like a mafia guy. And she went to the event and was pretending to be his wife. And at the end of the night, he was like, we have to sleep in the same hotel room, as husband and wife. And she was like, right. And then she was like, I gotta admit it to you. I'm still a virgin. I'm a 26-year-old virgin, even though I'm drawn like a child. Oof, ugh, ugh.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then he was like, well, I can fix that. He was just like so obsessive over her. And then he was a rich Yakuza guy, of course. So he bought out the company she worked at to be her boss. And then he made her have sex with him in his office, even though she kept saying no and she was really uncomfortable with it. And that was at the point where I said, you know what? Never mind. And of course, afterwards, she was like, you're the best person I've ever met in my entire life. And I'm like, shut up. Where's your brain?
Yeah, you know what happens? The thing that, there's something that happens often that I don't like is, like, the guy will, like, tease the girl by doing, like forcing her to do just, like, sex stuff. And it's, like, considered, like, teasing or bullying or something, right?
Uh-huh.
And then she's like, why do you always bully me? And then he's like, it's because I love you. And she's like, oh
my god, he loves me.
Oh my god, he loves me. Yeah, and it's just like, what the
This is not healthy.
He just, like, sexually assaulted you, like, multiple times. As his way to show that he, like, I don't know, likes you so much or whatever. And it's
that
weird.
is the number one way for me to instant drop anything. I am done. No, I also hate, it happens so often where the woman will just, like, they'll be having sex and she'll just say no, and I'm like, why? Just say yes? How about that? Just say yes, because you enjoy it. You're allowed to enjoy it. You don't have to say no. Japan as a society is still like, women aren't allowed to enjoy sex.
It's really interesting, though, because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you enjoying it a little too much for, like, not a lot going on. If that makes sense.
Oh, I understand, yes.
Like, the author, I'm like, come on, man. You and I both know she's not enjoying it as much as you are making her seem like she enjoys it.
I think that is, again, the author projecting.
Try to be realistic for once.
Realistic sex in my manga? No, never.
When it's catered towards women, it's like smut, and when it's catered towards men, it's like hentai. But they're also, like, very different, like, connotations. But they're kind of similar, right?
Like, what do you mean, connotations?
I don't know. I guess, or, like, I mean, if you, just, like, the connotation of smut versus hentai is pretty different.
Right.
Like, how you would view it. I think smut in general is kind of seen more as, like softcore porn type things.
Yeah.
And, like, hentai is, like, hardcore, just, like, or, like, hardcore, like, straight up porn.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how it gets categorized that way, where also, like, smut is catered towards women and hentai is catered more towards men, I guess.
Right.
I think there's a lot of girls I think there's a lot of women who, like, read hentai too. But in general, like, that's kind of how...
Yeah, how women are supposed to...
Things are split.
Only be into the more softcore vanilla stuff.
Or it's weird that there's, like, not that much, like, more... I guess, I don't know, is there... like, more softcore type stuff that's catered towards men as well?
I'm sure there is, but it's not as popular. That did make me think. I actually read a book recently called Neon Gods, which is...
Neon Gods.
Yeah, which is a smutty romance. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling in novel form. That's how far I've fallen. I spent money on a real book. It was sex in novel form.
I mean, there's plenty of books like that, right?
Yeah, but, like, I didn't, if you told me 2 years ago I would have done that, I would have said, really? And then I did.
Bought a smutty book?
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok, and there's spicy book talk always popping up on my feed. And it's just a bunch of these spicy recommendations of, like, smut in novel form. So there's a lot. There's a whole community of that out there.
And now apparently I'm part of it.
I'll send you my TikToks.
It was called Neon Gods. It was okay. I mean, I gave it 3 stars. Because I cannot possibly give a smutty romance more than 3 stars, IMO. Well, maybe I could. But that one was definitely just like 3 stars.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, like, there's most definitely a different standard when it comes to smut.
Yeah.
I feel like I was always really, really shy about it, reading smut. And then I, like, joined our Discord where everyone recommends smut, like, left and right. And I'm like, oh, like, you know, I used to always, like, read it on, like, incognito or something. And now I'm just like, I don't care. I'm like too lazy to go on incognito. I'll just go on my regular browser.
True. I mean, own it.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of TikToks too, and low-key, I'm like, wow, this community makes me feel so safe.
Yep. Women are allowed to like sex. It's the year's 2022.
It's actually, I feel like it's actually very, it's also very stress-relieving.
I feel that, because, like, you don't have to use your brain for it. You just focus
There's
on
usually not a lot going on, either. For real.
Well, I think we should go ahead and wrap up our steamy discussion.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on our smutty smut episode.
I hope you were 18 plus as you listened. Let us know your favorite smut. Do you read smut?
Do you read it on incognito? Yes or no? I want to know too.
Do you read it in public, just out for everyone to see? Thank you for listening. Check us out next time when we won't be talking about dicks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Into the Shoujo-Verse. Check out our social media. We're on Twitter at the Shoujo-Verse, YouTube and Instagram at Shoujo-Verse, and TikTok at Into the Shoujo-Verse. Thank you so much.